to work is around 600,000 over 65%.
Man to a community of West Philadelphia.
That I had to tell about my community and my people.
People are saying, I'm here, I'm alive, I exist.
Black Lives Matter.
I'm a Philadelphia police officer.
And I am his son, Cedar Walton. I am 14 years old. I decided to make a film for young people like me for our future. I know we need change for education, and it is not fair for other schools that either do not have enough funds or tools. I also know that education is one of the top things that is most important in life to succeed in the future. If the problem is schools getting shut down due to lack of funding and it happens more often, will it lead to higher crime rates? In Philadelphia, schools have been shut down for many years and it has not stopped yet. To solve this problem, I decided to investigate young leaders' opinions on funding schools and how they would solve it. I also interviewed my father, who is a police officer, to get his opinions on policing and activism in 2020.
Who literally will tell you straight to the face they're not funding these schools fairly because they don't believe black children can learn.
Say it again.
Yes, I will. They will tell you to your face that you try to fight for those Philadelphia kids, quote unquote, which they mean by the black kids, and they can't learn. They'll say it to me, even though I came out of the public schools and I have 4 advanced degrees, more than they do, and they will tell me that black children somehow can't learn.
Tell 'em, baby.
And I'm supposed to buy that?
I am in a Montgomery County school. We have high quality electronics and we do not have funding challenges. But schools in Philadelphia do. They are being shut down and it is having an impact on staff and students in Philadelphia schools. I do not think that it's fair that Philadelphia schools have been experiencing an ongoing budget crisis.
Education is very important because you want to have a better understanding of things in life that will help you succeed in life. It gives us knowledge of the world around us and changes it into something better. You know, the more knowledge you have, the better, you know, the world will be.
That's what you're dealing with in Harrisburg. You're dealing with even a Democratic governor who are sat across from the table with other black clergy on this city, a city that supported him with 400 to 500,000 votes, and said, we need you to be a champion on this issue. We need you to stand up and go against those individuals that are part of that Senate and a part of that House. And will you stand up? And he looked me straight in the face and said, no. I'm telling you the truth. He looked me straight in the face.
Yeah, I've seen many peaceful protests, you know, and I've seen some very violent ones. I've seen people looting, people fighting, people burning down buildings, people breaking into businesses and stuff like that. And that was very violent and not peaceful at all.
Eric Gardner, when that first happened, a bunch of my friends who I'm actually still friends with now, and one of them, she actually spoke with me at the Black Educators and Students March that happened in July. She and I, when we were in 6th grade, and now we're in 12th grade, so we've definitely been friends for a long time, but we organized, we got like a group of us, it was like 10 Black students, and we made signs that said, I can't breathe, and we said, we're going to lay down in front of the cafeteria and lay on that floor so that just to show what was going on and bring awareness to it. Because in our school, we went to Masterman Middle School, a lot of the students were white, and, you know, like this didn't mean anything to them or they weren't paying attention, but we wanted to spread awareness and we wanted to do something, like I said, again, just doing something to make us feel less hopeless and like, okay, we're doing something, we're in. So in 6th grade, we made those signs and we wrote down Trayvon Martin's name, we wrote down Eric Gardner, we wrote down a couple people. I can't even, the names like slipped my mind a little bit, which is really sad. But yes, Alessandra Blonde, I think that was all around that same time. And we laid down on the floor with the signs, and yeah, they just said, "I can't breathe." And that was my first time that I ever protested.
We as the youth needed change. We needed change yesterday, and we're tired. So we're ready to march and have our voices heard tomorrow, and please join us. Thank you.
Right now, I've been attending a series of protests called Civil Saturday protests, and they're led by a group of some really awesome people around the same age as myself, and I'm 18, who've been leading protests every Saturday with a different color theme, and then they also focus on a different issue every week. So one week it was like advocating for trans lives, and then one week we were advocating for abolishing the police, and then every week is like a different thing. But that's what I've been doing since I've been here.
The next time there's an officer involved shooting, whether it's here in Philadelphia or somewhere else, because now, while we defend everybody's right, their constitutional right to protest and you know, voice their opinion, it's those opportunists that are going out and looting. You know, they just see it as an opportunity, and this is what we're gonna do. They don't even care about what happens downtown. They don't even care about the protest. They don't care about what the argument is. They just see it as an opportunity to go loot. And it's something that we're gonna have to deal with. And hopefully the experience that the officers are getting will prepare us a little better. But in reality, it's us as commanders and above that have to put them in a better position to succeed.
You build a community when you protest. Like a lot of the people who I met who became founding members of the Philadelphia Black Student Alliance, I met them at protests, and now I talk to these people like every day. And so meeting people who care about the same things as you and who are as passionate about the same things as you, like literally I'm doing this call because of a protest like with Jalen. And I think the community and being united with other people, and that's why I haven't felt, you know, fearful at protests, because I feel protected by the people who I'm surrounded with.
I have a few awards. Officer of the Month, I have a couple of those. Pretty much, I have a few accommodations for merit for people, burglaries, robberies, people who assaulted people with guns, you know, just being there when people needed me to be there. Taking people to the hospital who was injured, that was minutes from dying, and saving their life.
I told you I've been here for a month, and I've been to at least, I'm gonna go 6 protests, at least 6, since I've been here. And this is just, you know, me finding out how to connect with Pittsburgh, because I told you, like, I'm new to the city. So it's like you have to find the people and the organizations and things happening here. And it definitely helps being on a college campus that there's a lot of other people like in clubs and public information that's given to us as students. But I'll definitely continue to protest, because people don't, I mean, like once we stop protesting, then it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess the problem is solved, or if it's not, then it's just going to keep happening. So I want to protest until the problems are solved. And that's why it kind of confuses me. Some of the people who, or a lot of people who started out in those first few weeks out in the streets, it's like the media was covering it. There were hundreds and thousands of people constantly out in major cities, and then everything started dying down. But I'm like, hey, like, problem isn't solved. Like, people still aren't in jail who are supposed to be in jail. Like, issues haven't been solved that should have been solved. So why aren't we protesting? And that was honestly what initiated me creating the Youth for Black Lives protest, was because that momentum was going down, and it shouldn't be, because the problem is, it's still here.
It has its challenges, just like any other job. You know, people will appreciate your work, others won't.
We want an immediate defunding of the police budget by 20%, because we believe that public funds should enrich our communities and not the cops.
police being reformed. That's important. Training, transparency, are a form of reform. Rules and stuff like that, you know, they're all very important. Transparency is good for the public, you know, to let them know what the department is doing, you know, where funds are going, et cetera, et cetera.
I think that it makes a major, major difference to defund the police and to put that money into schools, because if you think about it, we spend so much time in school. Like, I mean, at a lot of points in my life, like I've been at school more than I've been at home. And you know, when schools have the proper resources and things for students like mental health counseling and opportunities to be active in college counseling and just all the other things that students should just be receiving just because they're a student or just because they're a person.
In order for police to be defunded and schools to be refunded or funded, we have to vote. And that's not like those things that people are worried about are not on the federal level, but it's local level officials who make those decisions.
You come home from seeing all this stuff that you have seen throughout the day, you don't really want to bring the job home with you. So family actually balance it out, you know, to come home to loved ones and stuff like that, you know.
Continue to be out here with us. No justice, no peace. Abolish racist police. No justice, no peace. No peace. Abolish racist police. No justice, no peace. No peace. Abolish racist police. No justice, no peace. No peace. Abolish racist police. I think it definitely holds a lot of weight just because of the way that it triggers people, or it seems to trigger people, you know? I think that Black Lives Matter, it encompasses so much because we're talking about Black trans lives, Black women lives, Black non-binary lives, Black drug dealers' lives, Black everyone's lives, everyone who are Black. And I think that once we say Black Lives Matter, some people that I guess aren't seen as good people in society are counted out. But no, they're still very much a part of that.
Compared to when I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of Black police officers in my community. I'm mainly seeing a lot of white officers in my community. So there is a difference as of today. Today in this time, I see a lot of Black police officers. Not as much as I would like more to see, but today there are more Black police officers. I've seen some Latino officers. I've seen some Asian officers. So yeah, there's a difference between, you know, when I was growing up, then into now.
Black Lives Matter to me means so much more than Black people should not be killed by the police. I feel like it means the quality of our lives should not be lesser than anyone else's. And that's also something I've had a problem with, because I feel like a lot of these companies and just people in general are using the term Black Lives Matter to say, you know, a basic thing that everyone should agree with. Like this, I mean, no one should have any problems with Black people should not be killed for no reason. They're unarmed. Well, first of all, Black people shouldn't be killed at all. But to me, it means the quality of our lives should not be lesser than. So that extends beyond just living. I believe not only should we live, but we should be able to thrive. And that's in terms of schools, jobs. So Black Lives Matter means a lot more to me than I think a lot of these companies and just random people who are starting to use the term mean for it. Like, do you actually, like Nike and McDonald's, like how many Black people do you have at the top of your corporation who are, you know, CEOs? Like that's Black Lives Matter to me. That's what it means to me. So
it makes me feel empowered, most definitely, like when we're in big groups and then it's like say it and then you can say it and you can feel it, like you feel the echo, you feel the sound waves in the air and people are saying it and they're saying it with a passion. But it also makes me feel sad when people don't say it with a passion, because it's like if you're going to say it, then you need to say it and believe it and really act on that in your own everyday life. But some people have just, you know, they're like, oh, like hashtag BLM, just to just it's performance, you know. They're trying to make it seem like they're in support of something that they're actually not. So I'm thinking, like, if you're gonna say it, then you need to truly believe that. And when I say it, I know that it always makes me feel empowered.
Every now and then I'll hang out with good friends of mine. Some of them I call my brothers that I grew up with. I'll watch football every Sunday when the season permits it. I love cooking, love catching up on shows, reading good books, and riding my bike, you know, bike trails and stuff like that. But, you know, I always say that, you know, the badge don't make me who I am. I choose who I am, and I choose to be a cop that cares. These opinions of mine are not of any police department.
I can't consider myself to be political, but there's one thing I've learned in my life. You don't have to know anything about politics. I like to think, like, don't talk about it and take action. That's the difference in 1 year. People are taking action. Movements are taking action. I had questions and I have questions.
Well, since I've known her, she's always had like some leadership roles with, we were on the crew team together and she was the captain for 2 years, I think. So with that, she was a leader, and even just like in her role in different clubs in high school and stuff, like she took a role in our BSU and just like other things we did in school. So she always had like a leadership role somehow.
She is and has always been purpose-driven. She always set high goals for herself and worked hard to obtain them. I know that Labria will be a success because it's in her very nature to try until she succeeds.
I was very surprised.
Oh, completely shocked.
I was actually the first person that she told. She came over and said she just wanted to like chill and stuff, and then she was just like, I don't remember if she said her period first or if she just came out and said she was pregnant. But I'm like, take a pregnancy test. And she was like, I took one. And I'm like, take another one.
I would first like to say the success of me being a good mother, a good teenage mother, was because I had great parents.
Because especially since I was like the first person I knew, and we've been best friends since we met in 9th grade.
Initially, it was disappointment in myself. I felt as though I had made a huge mistake, and it was something that I just didn't think it would be me. I didn't think that I would be in that place at that time. So the initial reaction was disappointment and just kind of upset. And that's how I was initially.
I was like stuck a little bit because I just was very surprised. I wasn't expecting it at all. But before she even said anything, I knew she was going to keep her. I don't know. I just had like an instinct that she was before I even asked.
I had a good foundation. My parents enabled me to go back to school so that I could get my diploma. I knew that because I had chosen to become a teenage mother, that I had to get my diploma. And so I went all through school, regular school, and I graduated on time in 1974.
did not plan on having Brooklyn. I wasn't ready, but I got ready quickly. I did.
I would say a leader just with taking the initiative and doing like things that she has to do now that she didn't have to do before becoming a mom, but she definitely takes the role very seriously and does what needs to be done to take care of Brooklyn. So yeah, I think so.
So my major is public health. What I aim to do with this degree is to do health administration. So somebody who helps to make policies and change policies in public health settings. People who work for the CDC often do this administrative work with public health. So I'm more so interested in policy making when it comes to public health rather than something like nursing where there's direct contact with patients and taking care of patients.
Okay.
She's not a give-up person at all. She is learning. She was trained to multitask from her prior school. So this training has just overflowed into her being a mother. Because as a mother, you are doing things simultaneously and you are doing more things than multitasking is the word I'm looking for. And Bria knows how to multitask.
Yes, I think she's a wonderful mom because especially being 20 and of course she wasn't expecting it, but I feel like she took on the role gracefully and she does what needs to be done, and given her situation and being able to like do it by herself, and I think that's like amazing, and it takes a lot of strength to do what she does, and I think she should be very proud of herself because I know it's a lot and I'm proud of her. So yeah, but she's a great mom. I always knew, even when she first told me she was pregnant, like I knew she would like still do what she needed to do to stay on track with everything. So yeah, it's not a surprise to me that she's still going to school because like I knew she would do it even though it's going to be hard. Like I knew she would still manage to do it. So yeah, I'm happy for her.
I mean, I knew I needed to work because I needed to be able to provide for Brooklyn. So it's not that I necessarily wanted to work. I knew I had to. But I'm no longer working a job. So I'm currently self-employed because I am a forex trader. So I make money by trading on the foreign exchange market, and it's all done through my phone. So it's convenient. I can make money on the go and still be able to be a mom to Brooklyn.
Put your faith and trust in God first and foremost. Continue to believe in yourself. Don't be hard on yourself if you make a mistake. Just get back up and dust yourself off and learn from that mistake. I want you to listen to others who have gone before you and not just hear your own self, to look for sound, good advice, to stay positive and to love yourself and know that you are important, that you are loved, and continue to strive to be the best mom that you can be. The mom that you had, the example that she has set before you. And I believe that everything will fall into place because you are a hard worker, and hard work always pays off.
I knew for a fact that everything was going to change, and everything did change. I'm still the same Bria for the most part. It's just different. It's a different version of me, and she changes my routine, but it's okay. I do it all for her, so she's changed everything though.
I just want LaBria to don't forget to take time for herself. Don't forget to take time to smell the roses with Brooklyn growing up. Don't rush and don't feel as though that she has to do everything on her own. She has a wonderful support system, And I hope that she learns to use that support system. She's a very good mother. She's a very good mother. She's a conscientious young mother. She already has a schedule for Brooklyn that she keeps. So I'm proud of LaBrea. I am.
Well, to Bria, I'm very proud of you for being the mom that you are. And you know, we've grown together. We've known each other since we were 14, and we're 20 now. So it's been a long time. But I'm like just very happy to see how she's grown, and then now being a mom to little Brooklyn. And yeah, Brooklyn, you have a bomb mom and a bomb godmom. And I just can't wait to see how you blossom as you get older. So yeah.
She told herself that she knew she was wrong, and that is something that not everybody can do. She said that she was disappointed in herself because she knew that she can do better. She also stated that she was upset, but I knew she would be a great mom. I know because of the bright and happy person she was. I also looked up to her because she went to college and was a very smart young lady. I know that because I would hear my aunt talk about how smart she was, and I admire her for what she did. One day, I hope to be like her, but without the baby.
Kindness, I think kindness defines me. I think my will to succeed defines me. I think my goodness and mercy defines me as well.
I am Hezekiah Anderson.
My name is Ruhama Nazima Anderson, and I am 45 years of age.
Oh, wow. She was the quintessential example of how to parent. And being a young father, you lean on the examples that she set. The advice that she gave me helped me out tremendously in raising, my 3 children, and helped being a figure to all of my nieces and my nephews and everyone like that.
Oh, wow. She helped and continues to help me be strong, independent, caring as well. She's the easiest person to talk to, and she is like a really good support system for me.
Whew. She's the strongest person, not just woman, the strongest person that I've ever met, that I've ever been around. And not just because she's my mother and she raised us, but the things that we had to go through, the things that we had to overcome. She was at the forefront of all of it. So she's like our general, and we are just her soldiers.
Funny. Beautiful, strong, intelligent.
My name is Leah P. Anderson. I am 72 years old in November the 20th. A good leader to me is a person who perseveres, a person who is determined, and a person who goes forward. As an adult, I faced many difficulties, such as being a young mother, a single parent. You know, things were not as accessible as they could have been if I had not have been. Employment was very difficult. It was a challenge for me. Challenges motivate me, believe it or not. And I like a good challenge. I am very proud of my children, and I am as well proud of my grandchildren. I chose a career path, not really, my career path chose me. I was working in McDonald's as a cashier, and a bona fide chef came and saw my worth, and he offered me a job in the hotel industry, so I pursued that starting in 1989. The greatest part about my family is compounded. I love my children, and I love my grands for my children, giving them all of what I could not give them.
Well, two. One, I didn't go to college. I think I wanted to do that whole college experience. Not to get a better job or a career or anything like that, but just to experience the college life. And my only other regret is that I didn't meet my current wife sooner.
I wouldn't say that I have regrets. I don't really like to use the term regrets. That sounds so sad in wanting to go backwards. So I would say that I did in life learn from, I don't want to say mistakes, but I learned to do things differently going forward. So it's kind of like growth and development. So it's not really regrets, because you always learn and continue to learn how to do things differently and better.
If I could do something differently in life, I think my differences would be to educate the humane society on a overall. Okay. In my career path, I had a few challenges, okay? Basically, having children at an early age, I had to decide whether I wanted to go back into the workforce or whether I wanted to sit home and raise my children, or would I be able to do both? So I decided to do both, okay? I educated my children strongly enough so that I didn't have to worry about them while I got back into the workforce and held down the house. In the course of my working, I formed different job patterns. I did different things. Eventually, I became a leader in my culinary department, and that in itself was a job, because it's not easy trying to get others to follow lead. Okay, and in some cases it was easy, in other cases it was challenging. But in any event, all prevailed, and I was able to retire from my job without a problem.
Thought I'd get nice, give it to you smooth on Choices may change, but our hearts remain the same.
You will not be able to simply hashtag or tweet this one. You will not be able to just roll this one up or crack one open and fade. You will not have unlimited channels this time so that the programming may affirm you, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be sponsored by Comcast or JP Morgan, or shown on Fox and CNN. This will not merely be a trending 7-part Netflix documentary that you aimlessly binge watch. The revolution will not roll clips of Donald expounding nonsense and Joe casually policing black identities, nor will you see a white person asking for donations for an African child in need.
All of these topics revolve around racism. You know, the police killings, it's all predicated on racism. When we talk about the people that are homeless on the streets, that's predicated on racism. Everything that you see, all the injustices that exist in this country, when it comes to black people and their suffrage, it's all predicated on racism. The movements that erupted as a result of the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Rayshard Brooks, and many others, absolutely. The type of changes that I would like to see is I would like to see the funding that goes toward the police budget. I would like to see that funding change direction and go toward creating the type of opportunities for people to actually thrive. The issue of leadership. The problem is the issue of interest in controlling. They want to control everything. And the people have to allow their own selves to be led to abolish it, destroy it. It's one of those things that, like, you can't think about, you just have to do it, because your life is at risk. Your family's health is at risk. You're at risk of not having your family if you don't. So it's not even a thing of let's get together and lead.
The revolution will not clear your skin, will not seduce you, will not enlarge your manhood, because the revolution will not be televised. There will be no more videos of kings who give themselves trivial names, acting out misguided notions of what it means to be somebody. There will be no more pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no more pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no more pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no more videos of Killer Mike giving a heart-wrenching speech in light of a riot in which the disenfranchised destroy their own communities. There will be no more waiting with bated breath for Mr. Obama to speak during pivotal times, because the people will have already had the agency amongst themselves. Keeping up with whoever, Real Housewives of wherever, in The Bachelor will no longer be so damn relevant. We will no longer care about who dies next on Game of Thrones. Because conscious people will be in the boardrooms addressing the systematic inequities. They will be on TV giving voice to the marginalized.
You know, I'm about to 21, about to be 22, just graduated college, undergrad. I haven't made my mark quite yet.
How did you feel when George Floyd was murdered?
I was disheartened. I felt angry because here's another example of a black man being unjustly killed by police. Another black person, because black women are also a part of that plight. But yeah, I was very disheartened and angry, to sum it up in 2 words. This is bigger than actually reforming the police department. I think it starts with African Americans truly loving and embracing ourselves and being unapologetically black in white spaces, and asserting that to a point in which the culture has no choice but to accept us how we are. And through that, we profoundly change the system, I think.
And they will be in the streets uplifting their communities. The revolution will not be quick and easy because they said we have no attention span or desire for anything of substance. The revolution will take place in law school classrooms and throughout all systems of higher learning. The revolution will take place through bold entrepreneurs who do not forsake their humanity for their pockets. The revolution will take place amongst manual laborers and office workers who acknowledge the true identity of their fellow co-workers. The revolution will be expressed through truly creative and thoughtful artists. The revolution will usher in an equitable socio-economic paradigm shift. The revolution will ensure every child has access to a sufficient education. The revolution will ensure there is no longer an assault against black bodies and that there is an indictment of every racist pig. The revolution will usher in a new age of activists. The revolution will drown out the ignorant amongst us, and it will empower the righteous masses. And the revolution will not be silenced by a pig's bullet or his knee, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
Gleaned from those leaders the positives and the negatives.
But there are some people who would not respect me as a leader because I am a woman.
From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high.
Good day. My name is Pastor Rebecca Deloach. I am the pastor of Bible Union Fellowship Church. We are located at 6049 Pine Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
From the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name.
Bible Union Church was started by my father. His name was Bishop John Lewis. He felt the need to begin a work in Southwest Philadelphia. We lived, he began the work in the community. We had several families that lived in our Southwest Philadelphia community. And I was working in Sunday school. I was working helping to teach Vacation Bible School. I was one of the assistant ministers since 1980 in the church. I was doing different other things in the church. And as time went on, I began to assume more duties. And when he passed away, I was his assistant pastor. And then I became the pastor of the church.
We got to keep doing that. We got to keep praying, because as soon as you may stop for one situation, here's another situation right behind it. Oh my goodness, things keep happening each and every day. It just don't stop. What you was crying for yesterday, look, it'd be something else you'd be crying for.
What does a leader mean? Well, I'm in the forefront, and there are those who will follow my direction. So I need to set a good example, being trustworthy, being honest, being able to lead by my example. So as I love the Lord and I love people, he said to love the Lord with all your heart and love your neighbor as you would love yourself. As I love on people and I love on God, as I make an example of being a giver and a helper, that's what a leader does, because people will look to you and they will do as you do. If I wasn't doing some of these things personally, then who could follow me? So I need to set the example of being loving, forgiving, helpful. Yes, those are things that I need to show so that people can see it in me, and then they may follow me. Yeah. As a woman, maybe I haven't seen it a lot, but there are some people who would not respect me as a leader because I am a woman. But I didn't really have issues with that. Not among my congregation, not in my church per se, but I've seen it in other areas where people say, "You're the pastor?" Yes, I'm the pastor. But so I didn't have a lot of that, but I've seen it happen where people may disrespect me for being a woman, but not a lot. For the most part, I've been just fine.
You're like the first woman pastor I knew.
Really? Okay. Yeah. My grandmother was a pastor years and years ago. My father's mother, she began a church in New Jersey. She served it well, and she did it. So that's why I said I had people in my family who were ministers, who were women. So it was not something strange to me and to the people who I was close to. But there are some organizations where they don't respect women as being pastors, or they don't push that. So, but I've always seen it. Yep.
Hallelujah, as you would have us to move, because in you we move and have our being. So help those out there today, Lord God. Help us in here today, Lord, to continue to work on the building, and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Amen.
My name is Dr. Annette Hampton. My undergraduate degree was in psychology. My first master's degree from Shippensburg University is in student personnel administration and management. My second master's degree is from University of Pennsylvania, and that was in social work. I have a social work degree, and I'm a licensed social worker. My PhD is in counseling psychology supervision. So Alpha Community Development Corporation was created about 13 years ago by our church leadership. They saw that there was a need for somebody to specifically develop programming and strategies to help the community that surrounded the church. So about 13 years ago. I came aboard about 11 years ago. The original goals when Alpha was made was for the church to have an arm that reached into the community and for us to know what the needs were and for us to strategize and figure out how we could meet those needs on an ongoing basis. So that's what we've been doing, and that's what we continue to do. so since March, either one time or twice a week, we've been distributing food to our community and surrounding community. And so the purpose of that, since we're in the middle of a pandemic, is to make sure we're giving it out in an organized way, a safe way. So if you come, you'll see we have our mask on. We don't have over amount of people in the yard. People are driving through to pick up their food, and we have people that are gonna put the food in the car and then they drive out to kind of keep the social distancing thing going on. But the need is great. People have been laid off from jobs. Other people needed food even before the pandemic started. So this is a way of them getting food on a regular basis.
Hey, Mike!
April keys?
Well, she takes 4 or 5.
She didn't say, she just said April keys.
Oh, man, no, I'm talking about Roberta. She takes 4 or 5.
5, she took 5.
April keys get 10.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And then Miss
What does leadership mean to me? Leadership means that you have identified a venue in which you need to connect people with resources, or people with ideas, or people with strategies, to make sure that whatever the need that has been identified, or whatever the issue or problems that are going on, are being addressed in a systematic way. That's what a leader does. I like to think of myself as a knowledgeable leader, a loving leader, a leader that gets things done. I try not to get caught up in the importance of myself, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not important. The work is important. And so it's bigger than I am in many ways. And all I'm doing is helping in terms of getting the organizing the venue to get the needs met. Well, I think many times that as women, people don't always take you seriously or think you know what you're doing. It's like with anything else, you prove by example. When you get it done, you gain the respect. You don't allow it to keep you from doing what you need to do. But in fact, you just keep moving forward as you had planned, regardless of how people feel about you or what they think about you. You still have to get the job done. And so you have to think on your feet. You have to think with a cool head. You have to think ahead. You have to have a plan A, B, C, and D, and keep it moving. That's what community work is all about. Always remember that whatever setting you're in, whatever you're doing, whether it's work, home, school, play, whatever, that is your learning environment. You can learn from every single situation that you're in.
You still treat people with love and respect, even if they're not respecting you. That's one thing that will help you to get over humps, and even you can have people come back and apologize because you were able to. I don't have to cuss you back out because you cussed me out.
Think deeper than the normal person, I'd say, when you're talking about stepping into leadership role, and really glean from every situation in terms of educating yourself.
Loving people in spite of how they are. That's how Christ loved us. He loved the church. He gave his life for us in spite of who we are, in spite of how we act. Love goes beyond faults and sees that there's a need. And that's what a leader needs to do.
Working on the building. Don't stop, don't get discouraged. Don't give up, don't be dismayed. He is here for you. I'm working on the building. Oh yeah, it's a firm foundation, and I'm holding